What's up, live once again? Polo Sports Talk and Entertainment. Here again with another one. Be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not a member, and also hit the notifications to get all of my content, all of my videos. You know the deal, you know the drill. This ain't nothing new. Now, with everything that's been going on and taking place with the Lakers, injuries, of course, them struggling just to maintain even 500 and turmoil going on rather with Frank Vogel and you know inconsistencies that have been taking place, struggling to beat mediocre teams, things of that nature. But here's my thing, all right? What happened to all the Westbrook hate? No, Matt. No. No. What happened to all of the Westbrook hate? What happened to it? Now look, I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve to get criticized, especially at the beginning of the season, right? But it's what I talked about. Oh, it was a while back. It was a couple of streams ago. I can't remember which one exactly what it was, but it was when I was talking about the Lakers, and I basically was saying that, and I was telling one of the subs, I was like, they go from, and I said it on Ticket's channel too. I said they go from one person to the next each week. 1 minute, they're talking about Russell Westbrook and they're talking about his struggles. Then, of course, now the mainstream media is not going to focus heavily on LeBron's struggles or any of that. They're not going to key into that because they see him still as the face of the league or whatever. But the people outside of the mainstream media and brothers in the LDBC, we know what the real is. And that's not to say that LeBron has been doing terribly bad. He's actually doing much better than what people have given him credit for, but still, can he do better? Yeah. Uh Here's the thing though. Here's the thing. Okay. Westbrook has been playing a lot better over the last several games. And I know this might not mean much to some people, but believe it or not, he's actually shooting slightly better than Steph Curry from field goal range, not 3 pointers, but he's improved his 3 point percentage because he's at 32%, which for him it's a great it's that's a phenomenal thing to be doing, especially over the last several games. Uh, you know, Listen, in the L that he took against Memphis, could have played a lot better, right? He did over the up until the Memphis game and up until the Thunder game, the previous game, he had actually cut down on his turnovers. Uh, with Sacramento, he only had 3 turnovers, and the reason why I'm focusing on the turnovers is because that was that to me was really where his struggle really lied at. It was for him and his turnovers, not necessarily his shooting. So much. Of course, people gonna key in on the shooting, but it was the turnovers. Up until that he had 3 turnovers. Then he had 3. Then he went back up to 4. Only had 2. Then 4. But then he went back up to 6 against Memphis, and then back down to 5 or whatever. You know, uh, he's actually been playing great because he put up 29, then 25, then 23. Against the Clippers, he didn't do so well. He only had 2 turnovers. But he was actually taking care of the ball against the Clippers. I give him that. Some people don't give him that credit. Then bounced back. Had 24 against Boston. You got to give him credit, but the last couple games he's been in single digits. He's actually been doing a lot better. But the thing about it is, and I want people to understand, is that look, he's actually learning on the fly, and this is what I talked about. I talked about this at the beginning of the season, and I told people Rondo is still there. Rondo is in Westbrook's head. Like Rondo is feeding Russell Westbrook wisdom from the point guard position. He's picking that up. Now, is that to say that he'll be the greatest point guard ever to play and all this other stuff? No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not the nonsense that I'm trying to bring right now. But the logic I'm trying to explain to you is that when Rondo was over there with Reggie Jackson, who some people already had felt that Bobby Schmurder was already set in his ways, when Bobby Schmurder had picked up some of the wisdom that Rondo was able to give to him, you see his game went up to a whole nother level. And to me, I think that that's what's taking place with Russell Westbrook. You know, I don't like to make a whole lot of excuses for an NBA player because you're in the league. You're in the league for a reason. You're in the league to get better. You're in the league to win. You're in the league to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? And your whole goal should be the best player that you could be, and also be the best player for the franchise that you're currently with that you can be. But Russell Westbrook was thrown into a situation to where he wasn't a point guard and had to learn how to play, and he was doing it his way. He was playing the point guard position his way. And some people agreed with the way that he was doing it, and some people disagreed. And when you looked at the league back then at that time, okay, we knew right away that Russell Westbrook was not a Derrick Rose in terms of his intellect, in terms of the point guard position, but in terms of the ferociousness and the athleticism, it had always been there. You know, and now does he play a reckless style and with reckless abandon and like a loose cannon, so to speak? Yeah, he does. And at times that's been his detriment. But the one thing that people don't give Russell Westbrook credit for is the fact that he's able to listen and he's able to pick up things and try to at least apply them. And that's what he's done. That's what he's doing right now. You know, uh, when he was, let me see, let me give a great example. You know, uh, let me give a okay. When he was with the USA team, okay, when he was with the USA team, he was with a teacher named Krzyzewski. Okay, I don't even like to call him. I don't even like to call him a coach. You know what I'm saying? That's such an understatement. I like to call him a teacher because that's what he is. He has a great mind and he brings value in terms of what he teaches to the people, the players that play for him. When he played for Krzyzewski with the USA team in a combination with some of the other guys who were more, accomplished, or might have been, more talented per se during that time. Well, guess what? Russell Westbrook actually played a decent a decent brand of basketball. And some people they didn't agree with that, right? He wasn't playing all reckless or anything like that. He was being a defender, right? He was being a defender. Then on top of that, he knew his role and he was bringing that much needed energy for the USA team. He was a needed piece. And when you play with guys like Kobe Bryant, who wasn't really particularly worried about scoring, guess what he was worried about? He was worried about defense and he was worried about winning. That was contagious. But at the same token, guess what is contagious from Westbrook to other guys? It's his energy. And like the brother Ticket has said, shout out to Ticket, everybody thinks that, he's just getting on Westbrook, stuff like that. He gets on him, but he gives him his props too. And one thing that that Westbrook is gonna do, he's gonna push the pace. Now, is he as young as some of the other guys? Like, of course not. We're talking about a guy in his 30s already. Okay, you can't expect him to be flying off the hook like Ja Morant or anything like that. When I guarantee you when he got dunked on by Tatum, uh, I would say like maybe like pre-injury Westbrook, he wasn't gonna allow that to happen because he'd had already been there and probably blocked the shot. But hey, it happens. It happens to the greats. And does that mean that Jason Tatum is way more athletic than Russell Westbrook? No, it doesn't. But you got to think about how young Jason Tatum is and how old Westbrook is. But the fact that he still jumped up and still met him at the rim and still tried, it says something. And it shows effort. And people gonna criticize, oh yeah, you got dunked on and stuff like that. I would have rather him at least challenge the shot, or I mean, sorry about that, challenge the dunk, than him just stand there and just get straight up dunked over. Or, like the other night, I think Anthony Edwards pretty much pulled a Vince Carter over a guy and pretty much dunked all over his head. That right there to me showed that you're not even willing to challenge. So I'm glad he had that type of mentality. But see, these guys what they need to do is, yeah, they need to meet each other, at the rim. Meet that guy out on the perimeter. Meet that guy right there, like a Patrick Beverly type of aggression. Meet them right there at that half court or even picking them up 94 feet. But that right there, that's not gonna happen. Now, if you tell somebody like Horton Tucker or Malik Monk or Ellington or one of those other young guys to do something like that, to where they're picking up the guy, 94 feet and everything, then sprinting back, you know what I'm saying, uh, for a rebound or whatever, running transition again, then pick him up again, stuff like that consistently or whatever. Yeah, you could do that when you're in your young to late 20s and stuff like that. But these guys are saving and conserving their legs. Now, I'm not trying to make no excuses for them. They still got to play regardless. And I don't even make excuses for LeBron James. Definitely not going to make any excuses for them. You're going to get the smoke whether you play good or whether you play bad. Y'all chose to jump up in the ocean. It's just like when it comes to Kevin Durant. Yeah, you're you're great and everything, and you displayed that last night against the Hawks, but still got to see more because the Hawks are right around 500. But to the Hawks' credit, though, they have dealt with injuries too because they didn't have Bogdanovich, and they're missing like they're missing four other players too as well. So Brooklyn did get out of there, but Trey Young he played phenomenal down the stretch. They just couldn't get the win. Damn near had a triple double. But see if he's playing settled, if Westbrook is playing settled and he's not getting a whole bunch of triple doubles and stuff like that, he's not being a triple double machine and stuff like that, then y'all say, okay, well, Westbrook is trash. Westbrook can't do this or Westbrook can't do that and all this other stuff. You know, and when he's cutting down on his turnovers, at least up until the Memphis and the OKC game. But then when he gets triple doubles and stuff, and he's lighting up the stat sheet and stuff, then you criticize him for that. You'll say, okay, well, yeah, he's erratic, he's crazy and stuff like that. Meanwhile, and then also the favorite word that people or favorite two words that people love to say is that he's a stat pattern and stuff like that. When the guy really could just be doing everything that he can just to win, you know. So which one is it gonna be? Where's all the hate at, right? So what he's gonna do, he's gonna continue to silence, and he's been shooting a lot better. He's been shooting a lot better, and people aren't giving, especially from the outside. Now, will he ever be, like I said earlier, the greatest 3-point shooter in history and all this other stuff, like a Steph Curry, like what he's on pace to be? No, he's not. I just don't see that happening. And maybe he could prove me wrong, because Jason Kidd proved a lot of people wrong. Yeah, how to do it. Go ahead. Sorry about that, y'all. But you know, like what is it gonna be? What's it gonna be? You got to keep this the same energy. Now, I believe. See what the Lakers need to do, and this is not coming from a Lakers fan. This is just coming from from somebody outside of liking the Lakers, they're gonna have to go on a streak, a winning streak, and not just no 2 or 3 games. They're gonna have to do what Houston had did, or what Phoenix had did. Well, I know that's probably impossible for them to hit more than 10 games and stuff like that, but they're gonna go have to go on that type of streak, and they're gonna have to go on that for several reasons. For one, for people to really, because believe it or not, people aren't taking the Lakers seriously. They're not taking the Lakers seriously. They're not taking as great as LeBron is in a lot of people's eyes. In some people's eyes, they're not taking him seriously. They're not taking Westbrook seriously. They're not taking their defense seriously. They're not taking anything that the Lakers bring to the table seriously. None of it. And so what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to pretty much bring that presence there and play and win at a rate like, okay, damn, they've won 5 games. Okay, oh shit, damn, they won 6 games. Maybe like 6-1 or something like that. Maybe even 7-1. And some people think that is highly unlikely. I feel that they could possibly do it. Sorry about that, y'all. But you know, there are there are things that you know and mechanics and stuff that the Lakers are really going. They're going to try to work on, I believe, and stuff. Um, as much as we want to just sit here and talk about Frank Vogel and Frank Vogel's on the hot seat and yada yada yada, it's not Frank Vogel's fault, man. I keep telling people that, and a lot of people disagree with me. Hey, that's okay. They want me to say they want me to be in line. Yeah, I mean, but even though Westbrook is my favorite, I don't consider him. I don't consider him a prototypical like point guard. If that makes any sense, he's not your prototypical point guard. Because of course people are going to say, oh yeah, well he lacks intellect, and the change of the biggest thing. It's not change of direction; it's change of pace. And as a point guard, you got to be able to do great in both areas when it comes to change of pace and change of direction. You know, but I believe that though. I understand where you're coming from, Sonny. But he's got to adjust. He listen. He hasn't been in a big market like this with the expectations. Yeah, he grew up in that area. The biggest market that he was at was in that held expectations was UCLA, and I'm talking about in terms of college when he played in Poly Pavilion. You know, when you talk about the banners and stuff like that in terms of their history. But besides that, he played in even though it gets loud, a lot of people don't understand that it does get loud over there in OKC, but it's still not LA. Even though it might get, you know, you might have some rumblings over there in H Town, it's still not LA. It's not like well, now it's the Staples, but you know, crypto .com center. It's still not LA, you know, but there are guys that are able to adjust. There are guys that are able to adapt. Some guys don't have an adapt or die type of mentality, you know, and I believe that Russ does, even at his elder age. But one thing that you can't say, and the one thing that you can't really try to damn near even attempt to debate me on, is his durability and his dependability. It's his durability and dependability. You know, he could be dependable. And see, that's the edge. That's the edge that, you know, somebody like Russell Westbrook has over a guy such as Anthony Davis, you know. And look, he might not, you know, in terms of skill and all that other stuff, might not be as skilled, but he's durable. You know, y'all want just like Westbrook and just like a lot of other guys, y'all want y'all want them to do unrealistic things right now at this stage of their career. Like y'all want Russell Westbrook to automatically be a Rondo or a Chris Paul or a Magic Johnson or Isaiah Thomas or Oscar Robertson at this stage of their career. And he's not gonna be able to do that. You know, can he improve in some areas? Yeah, but once you're setting your ways after 30 as a basketball player, as an athlete, it's hard to change because usually in at some point in your 30s, you're gonna be on your decline. It's just like with you know how they criticize LeBron heavily, you know, saying that you know he needs to learn all these moves and do all this other stuff. He's set in his ways. He's set in his ways. He's not gonna, you know, just like with Dwight Howard. They want him to learn and pick up moves that he should have picked up when he was with Orlando and you know all these other teams that he would play for and stuff like that. He's set in his ways. He tried it. He tried to work with Hakeem. Now, whether or not he applied it, no, it didn't seem to work like that. But he's set in his ways. But that's not going to take anything. A lot of people feel like he got robbed with the NBA 75. I'm one of them. But he's set in his ways. You know, he's not going to be who you want him to be. He's not going to be pulling up from 40. Yes, is that game beautiful right now? Is it pretty to look at? Is it what's popping right now and everything? Yeah, it is. But that's not Westbrook's game, and it never has been and never will be. But he's still a viable piece. Now, when Kendrick Nunn, this is another thing I got to talk about too. A lot of people don't really look at Kendrick Nunn as a guy that can really revamp this team. Man, you better pay attention to Kendrick Nunn. Now, the biggest thing we're not talking about offense. We know what Kendrick Nunn can do offensively, you know. Now, he's not a what you say a lockdown defender or anything like that. Somebody that can put the clamps on or anything like that. But his effort is better than what people give him for. He played defense while he was in Miami, and people don't understand that what was all on his plate when he was in Miami, being under that type of pressure over there. Jimmy Butler wasn't dependable. They didn't have Oladipo. Uh, I think Bam was playing through. Bam was playing hurt, and they had a couple other people that were hurt or whatever. But despite all that, he still did his best to hold it down, and still was able to come out of there shooting 38% from three and being a key playmaker. The Lakers didn't just pick him up just because, oh yeah, well, we just need to fill a spot or anything like that. No, they're gonna use Kendrick Nunn. The Trevor Ariza, I can understand where people are coming from. Trevor Ariza, listen, Trevor Ariza is just there, just just to pick his brain, play a couple minutes or something like that. But he's not gonna be a guy. What you say? Oh yeah, well yeah, we're gonna rely on Trevor Ariza as if it's 2009 or H Town Ariza or Washington Ariza even. And some people get mad. I'm sure I really don't care. Don't bother me at all. If you get mad, man, get infuriated. Get infuriated when I say that. But it's the truth. It's like I said, it's about putting these unrealistic expectations on some of these players. And it's not fair to the players, and not that I'm making excuses for them. That they grown men. They gotta suck it up. But it's the truth. If what I can guarantee you that if Russell Westbrook was in a whole nother market when he was in Washington, wasn't criticizing him like this. They criticized him when he was in Houston. They criticized him when he was in Houston. Matter of fact, they gave him more props when he was in Washington because of the run that him and Bradley Beal had went over. But the fact that he's in LA, of course, they're gonna make him a media punching bag. And they're gonna make him a media punching bag because of his play and for some of the outlandish things that he might do, and some of of course, the outlandish things that he wears. But that's what they want. That's what they want, just so that they can have something to talk about. And But shout out to Hitman X. I gotta talk to Hitman X about this if he ever listens to this. See, this is what I was telling them yesterday. You should be talking about Phoenix, okay? You should be talking about Chicago, okay? Listen, Phoenix is a big market. Okay, is it like LA? No, but it's still a big market. Chicago is still a big market. You should be talking about Cleveland, which won last night. I mean, they were killing Minnesota, absolutely destroying Minnesota. And Minnesota's supposed to be young, but Cleveland was coming there playing high octane basketball. High octane basketball. You should be talking about Cleveland. No, but you're focusing on the media wants so bad for the Lakers to play so great. They want them to play so great right away. They want it they don't even listen. The only reason, like I said, the only reason they're giving Golden State their just due is because they're ready for Curry to go ahead and get that to get Ray Allen's record, which he's on pace to do tonight against us, against the Sixers. That's the only reason if last year the only reason they talked about the Warriors is how bad they were struggling. And now that they're doing good, yeah, they'll talk about them every now and then, but then back to the Lakers. But it's Curry, 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 back to the Lakers. Excuse me, last time I checked, there were other guys on that team, on that Warriors team, that have made that team great and have been playing just as good. There, when they played against Phoenix that first time when they had that matchup, people forget that Jordan Poole was the one that was hooping and he outplayed Steph Curry, but they don't talk about that. Last night when Phoenix had played Boston, they don't talk about that. They want to talk about who they want to talk about. You should be talking about the facts. You should be talking about the fact that Phoenix, how the Phoenix Suns, have went on a streak. You should talk about the fact that they're 21-4. You should be talking about the fact, like 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 the brother Hitman X has said, that they're accomplishing all this while being shorthanded in a emerging superstar in D Book. That's what you should be talking about. That's what you should be talking about. But they pick and choose who they really want to talk about. You know, they pick and choose who they want to talk about, and they pick and choose who they want to demonize. And it's unfortunate that they're doing everything they can to demonize a guy like Russell Westbrook. And I'm not shocked by it. I knew that was going to take place. We knew that this was going to take place. Not shocked by it at all. Not shocked by it at all. But when they go on a streak and when they start to do better and when